And I would like to thank my leaders for wonderful opportunity given to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam early in the morning. So, let's begin the shloka. Before that, let us have a short kirtan. Chayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Chayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodananda Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So let us begin the today's verse discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So today we are discussing again a very special verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, Shloka 37. Let us recite together. अथ पृच्छामि संसिद्धिं योगिनां परमं गुरुं पुरुषस्येह यत्कार्यं म्रियमाणस्य सर्वथा अथ पृच्छामि संसिद्धिं योगिनां परमं गुरो पुरुषस्येह यत्कार्यं म्रियमाणस्य वर्थथा अथ okay just we'll see the word to word meaning atha therefore prachami beg to inquire samsiddhim the way of perfection yoginam of the saint paramam the supreme gurum the spiritual master purushasya of a person iha in this life yet whatever karyam duty uh, Briyamanasya of one who is going to die. Sarvataha in every way. So, translation and purport by our Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtottara Shasa Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. You are the spiritual master of great saint and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons and especially for one who is about to die. So I'll just read it in Kannada. ನೀವು ಮಹಾನ್ ಸಾಧುಗಳ ಮತ್ತು ಭಕ್ತರ ಗುರುಗಳು ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಸಕಲರಿಗೂ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಅತಿ ಶೀಘ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮರಣವನ್ನಪ್ಪುವವರಿಗೆ ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ಮಾರ್ಗವನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಎಂದು ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ರೀಡ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪಟ್ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್. ಸೊ ಸೊ unless one is perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of perfection, there is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not a kind of decoration for the householder. Generally, a fashionable materialistic engages a so-called spiritual master without any profit. The pseudo-spiritual master flatter the so-called disciple and thereby both the master and his ward go to hell without a doubt. Maharaja Parikshit is the right type of disciple because he put forward question vital to the interest of all men, particularly in the dying men. The question put forward by Parikshit Maharaj is the basic principle of the complete thesis of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us see how intelligently the great master replies. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing the screen. So, as I told you, we are going to discuss one of the beautiful shloka in Bhagavad Gita, sorry, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, I'll just tell the essence of this purport. So, in this purport, what we are going to understand and what I have understand by listening some lectures is that in this verse, we can understand the urgency and sincerity of a devotee. So that should be our mood when you're reading Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. So this verse shows the urgency and sincerity with which one should inquire from a bona fide spiritual master. So I am remembering one shloka in Bhagavad Gita. So that is 4.34. So importance of approaching a genius spiritual master. You can understand. What is that shloka? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninastatva darshinaha. So what is in this shloka? It's saying that just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So this is one of the important shloka which connects this shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam. Then here Parikshit Maharaj is praised as an ideal questioner because as our Shiksha Guru always says, Vrajnath Prabhu, if you are asking a question, please ask a valid question. That question, see, what is a feature of that question or nature of the question? That question should help the listeners also. The question should be so, genius or very ideal question so that the benefit, the people, those who are hearing, by hearing that question, people can renounce, people can get benefit of it, spiritual benefit. Even the speaker also get benefit and the questioner. So here Parikshit Maharaj is the wonderful devotee, is asking a ideal question. So that is why he's praised here as a ideal questioner, asking about the ultimate benefit of all the human being. That's why we are also taking a shelter in the morning. And because of Parikshit Maharaj, we can see Srimad Bhagavatam in our hand by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Then here another important thing is emphasized. That is called pseudo guru, the fake guru. We must, Prabhupada always says in his lecture, be careful. Even all our acharya says, be careful when you're selecting a guru. So what are the qualities of a guru must possess? That we will discuss further. Okay. So here in this purport, it's talk about the some kind of precautions against the pseudo gurus and stresses that only a genuine qualified spiritual master can guide a seeker to perfection, liberation, or go back to Godhead. Okay, so even in Bhagavatam, even in Bhagavad Gita, it's repeatedly stressed that spiritual inquiry must be serious, sincere, humble, and that should have an object. What is that object? Go back to Godhead. So we'll just dive deep into this shloka with all your permission. One of the lecture when I was hearing there, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was saying that in India, it's very common to have a guru because that is just like one passion or it's just like one formality, isn't it? But mostly, most of the gurus don't know what to be instruct, and even the disciples are not willing to take up any instructions or follow his instructions, but they must have guru. Why? That is one projection or status, or it's a formality. My father has a guru, so we have, generally they say one thing. What is that? He is our family priest, or we seek guidance, but that is just for a namesake. Ultimately, they are not going to do anything. And in Bhagavad Gita, it is says, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Evam parampara praptam ivam rajarshayo viduhu, right? So the supreme science as it is, it's come down the disciplic succession. And if one receives the spiritual message without any adulteration or interpretation. So I'll just show, if I can share something, I'll just show some of the picture because rather than making PPT, I felt like one picture is equals to 1,000 words. So, and many language people are here. I think the picture can taught so many things. Um, Hare Krishna. Can you see the screen? Hare Krishna.
Not yet, Mataji. It says double click to enter the full screen.
Okay.
Yeah, now we can see your large sea with a castle.
Yeah.
This is the reference.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. I think I have opened. I need to. Uh, it's this. Okay, so we were talking about Evam Parampara Praptham. See, look at this picture. I think, Prabhu, the screen is visible now.
Visible a little more up, you push it, Mataji,
Yeah,
so that we can see the. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. That's enough, Mataji.
yeah. So you can see here that there's a Krishna here. From Krishna, it has come to Brahma, Brahma to Narada. So now you are understanding what I'm trying to say, right? This is called Evam Parampara Praptam, Evam Rajarsha Viduhu. So here we can see the disciplic succession. So here the spiritual message or the spiritual master should communicate the truth as it is. Just now we discussed the shloka 4.34. So it says that without any adulteration or interpretation, then there will be a development of love of Godhead. That is called Krishna Prema. So, what should be the quality of a devotee when we are hearing? Again, it's okay. Yeah. So, how do we approach the Guru? With humble and sincerity. So, here you can see the next point. So, always when you see this picture, what comes to our mind? Always we have to be humble and submissive to our Guru. And Guru should be from the bona fide parampara. So, here in the Vedas also, it says that this word, this word is compared to an ocean. So I have a better picture to understand that. Yes, so this I have taken from Ishopanishad. The journey of the soul in a way. I'll go to sharing. Yeah. In this picture, you can, yeah. So in this picture, you can see this ocean. So this word is compared to an ocean. And this human body, what we have, this gross body is compared to the boat that can enable you to cross the ocean. And the instruction of the Vedas, instruction of the Guru, all the shastras are compared to the favorable winds that pushes the boat, that pushes, that pushes the boat to cross the ocean. So that is like a route map. And the spiritual master, our acharyas, our guru, has been described as a captain of the ship. As the captain of the ship, one who navigates the ship across the ocean. So, without approaching the Guru, it is highly impossible to cross this ocean. So, but now instead of begging a guru, go and asking for the truth, what we are actually begging? We are actually begging, correct? So, if one beg for spiritual instruction, if one is anxious and to obtain genius spiritual instruction, and if one takes advantage of these instruction, then one can make spiritual progress. So, first thing is we have to select a guru, and second thing is we have to listen to his instructions and that guru from the Guru Parampara, and we have to take an advantage of the instructions. In the sense, we have to follow the instructions, so that leads to cross this material world. So, therefore, even one has to approach a spiritual master. So if one belongs as so-called religious faith, just like, having a guru, that's enough. Whether we follow his instructions or not, our name has been changed and we have entitled that, Adisachi Devi Dasi Mataji, my work is done. No. So this is not going to help us. Even after you take initiation, after you take, so many other formalities, unless you are submissive and render to serve Guru and Vaishnava, whatever been given to you materially, this will be just material entitlement. It's not going to help us. Whether you have taken initiation or not initiation, our aim is to surrender to Guru and serve all the devotees. So, uh, we people in Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami says that what is the quality of spiritual master. So, I'll just see, I think many of them have noted this shloka. I mean, many of them know this shloka. It's a very famous shloka. See, this is what our situation, and only way we can get rid of this ocean is by surrendering to Guru. So, if we surrender to Guru, because in 4.34 Bhagavad Gita shloka, it says that he already seen the truth. So, he will help us to connect the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, here you can see our Shed Goswamis. So, here in the Nectar of Instructions, Rupa Goswami says that the shloka 1, Vacho Vegam Manaso Krodha Vegam Jivva Vegam Jivva Vegam Udaropasta Vegam Etan Veganyo Vishaheta Diraha Sarvam Apimam Pratavim Nashishyathe. So whenever I read this shloka, I always remember our dear Guru Maharaj. Because I mean, I know a lot of all Maharajas has created, a lot of disciple, but our Guru Maharaj is really special because he's not an ordinary person, and he has created a disciple. So in this shloka, in the shloka it says that ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಶಿಷ್ಯರನ್ನ ಯಾರು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಲು ಅರ್ಹರು. In the sense, to create disciple all over the world, they must possess qualities. What are the qualities? Vachaha, then manasaha, krodhaha, jiffa, ವೇಗಂ ಉದರ ಉಪಸ್ಥ. ನೋ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿಸ್. ಮಾತಿನ ಚಾಪಲ್ಯವನ್ನ, ಚಿತ್ತ ಚಾಂಚಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ, ಕೋಪದ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನ, ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಚಪಲಗಳನ್ನ, ಹೊಟ್ಟೆಯ ಮತ್ತು ಜನನಾಂಗಗಳ ಪ್ರಚೋದನೆಯನ್ನ ನಿಗ್ರಹಿಸಬಲ್ಲ ಸಂಯಮಿಯು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಶಿಷ್ಯರನ್ನ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಲು ಅರ್ಹರು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಸೇಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದಟ್ whatever, the one who can control the different pushes of the body, urges of the body, he who can regulate, who can control, that's very important. He is qualified to make disciple all over the world. According to Rupa Goswami, he says that control the power of speech is very important. The tongue should be used for what reason? Tongue should be used to glorify. God has given this body, each and every object, organ, in this body has some objective, but we have actually forget it. What is this tongue used for? Tongue used to taste very nice food. Of course, we can taste food, but before that, what we have to do? We have to glorify. That's why whenever we go to temple, they will not feed us prasadam first. What they do? They ask us to ask a question, listen, lectures, isn't it? So then the rest of the things will be there. So whatever we have, everything has to be samarpan. So samarpan to the Lord. So when we surrender ourselves, when we use our senses, our Sukshma Sharira, Stula Sharira for the service of the Lord, then we are qualified to utilize this body for our sense enjoyment. But it is not just sense enjoyment, it is actually that to survival, to keep this body healthy and fit, so that this body can be used for service of the Lord. So here, control the power of speech, and the tongue should be used for what reason? Only to glorify the Supreme Lord and his activity. Okay, so here the devotees never get, I mean, even you have seen, right? 24 bar 7 kirtan, 1 month kirtan, one and the other thing. Even example of in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami is constantly talking about glories of Sri Krishna, right? Srimad Bhagavatam. He's never non-stop glorifying the activities of the Lord. Krishna Katha is happening. He's not got tired. Even look at the other side. Parikshit Maharaj. He was also not got tired. And not only Parikshit Maharaj, even the rest, entire forest, the people, the Devatas present there, the Santas present there, Sadhu Santas, nobody got tired of hearing. Nobody got tired of speaking the glories of the Lord. So this tongue should be used to glorify the Supreme Lord and the activity of the Lord. Look at the other beautiful beauty of all our Vaishnavas. Even whenever we go, we meet the devotees, we just talk about Krishna Katha, which lecture you have heard, what did you hear, right? So preferably we supposed to do that, and we have to do that. So this tongue, because that's what Prabhupada says. So this tongue should be used to glorify. So, and we never, and another beauty is when you hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I think we won't get bored, isn't it? If we listen to the kirtans or any songs in any kirtans in Vaishnava's kirtan book, we feel like hearing again and again, again and again, because since 7, 8 years I'm here, and still I love each and every kirtan which is sung by all the pure devotees. So look at the beauty, because it is not, never get tired of it. We won't get tired or bored when we hear Harinama. So even in Canto 10th, Parikshit Maharaj begged Sukadev Goswami, please describe further the transcendental glories of the Lord. So means he's pushing, so that the body is always pushing to, I mean, the pure devotees and those who are under the control of the Guru or in the direction of the Guru. They try to listen more and more, more and more. And I will show the picture here. But if the condition of a non-devotee who is not interested or who is not getting into the path of bhakti, so they always busy with all the material sense enjoyment, they beg for it. So we know that generally what is this material entanglement happens when we start craving for one thing, right? So that after getting it, that craving will not get over. That craving will become double. When we thought that, okay, let me have one small house, 1 BHK, then that leads to, no, 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 let me have one flat, then one villa, or villa is there, let me buy a few more houses, let me rent it out for my future security, right? So I have just a bike. Let me buy this car. Oh, this car is not that luxury. Let me buy the other better car, which is more with luxury. See, this is not going to end. So in this material world, we all, I mean, most of the people are try to beg for what? For the material entanglement. And I'll just show this picture. This picture reminds us a lot, isn't it? So if you are get into lot of sense enjoyment, what is the result? The result is the result is punarapi jarana, punarapi marana. So the birth and death cycle will be keep repeating, right? So Vacho Vegam is done. Then we can also understand that the tongue is being used for glorify. That is what we understood. Then what happens when we are tongue, when we chant in the morning, right? So what happens? Our mind start thinking about it. So it's a very good chance that the mind will also use to meditate the instructions of the Lord and the forms of the Lord and the pastimes of the Lord. So when the mind is, in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks, what he asked, it's very difficult to control the mind. I can control the wind, I can control everything, but it's very difficult to control the mind, right? So that is why it's easy to control the mind. How to control the mind? When we use tongue for a right direction, then our mind can be controlled. So the mind that is constantly thinking about the mission of spiritual masters and the and when we start thinking, then it will become a friend. So in Bhagavad Gita it says, to our survival, to the better meaningful life, we have to keep our mind as a best friend. Otherwise, if it is a enemy, then gone, isn't it? Even in Sharanagati also, such a beautiful verses we find in Sharanagati. So what is that? Accept the Lord's interest to be his interest. Correct? Maro bhi rakho bhi tumhara icha. So, and not that his interest should be the Lord interest, but mainly we are communicating with the Lord that this is my interest, please get it done. But actually that devotees should pray the Lord. It's something like Maro bhi rakho bhi tumhara icha. So when the mind is engaged in meditating on the mission of the Lord, and when we are focusing on that, that state is called samadhi. So people will say, "Oh, samadhi. Samadhi means what?" In Ashtanga Yoga, in Bhagavad Gita, it says in 8 limbs of yoga, start with Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, then Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Samadhi is not inactiveness. Please understand. Samadhi is not inactive. Samadhi is art that has to be practiced in every devotee in this Krishna consciousness moment. So here, example of Sankirtan. So generally we do Sankirtan. In Sankirtan, what we do when we are hearing recently, in our sector, in our circle, we had a Sankirtan event in last Sunday. So what has happened there? Exaltic Kirtan. So when this Sankirtan happens, then we were completely immersed, and that help us to purify ourselves, isn't it? Sankirtan. One is constantly meditating on the spiritual instructions, on the directions and the forms of the Lord. That is called Samadhi. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, it is explained that if one does not take advantage of this human life and cultivate God consciousness, please understand this, then for millions of millions, he will not get a human life again. Such a strong statement. If you are not utilize this or taken advantage of this human body, and if you just busy in sense enjoyment, you can see this picture talks a lot. When we are busy in the sense enjoyment, then what happens? Millions of millions, we will not get a human birth again. So it means that when we are out preaching, when we are out of preaching, and you are when we are seeing a lot of conditioned souls nearby, then we will be like, oh, no problem. See, look at their, we feel proud. Oh, look, I am in Krishna consciousness. I am safe. These people, they are busy in, all the material activities. No, we should not do that. Paradukha Dukhi. Vaishnava is Paradukha Dukhi. Immediately we have to think, and we have to start preaching enthusiastically and try to attract them for Krishna. And we have to make them to soul. That's what always our Mathurapati Prabhu and Varadarajan Prabhu says. Did you find any soul there? In book distribution, did you find any soul? In Deepdan, did you find any soul for Bhagavad Gita? Please enroll them. Please register them. Because they know that this life is very precious, very, very important. And if we die without have taken the Krishna consciousness, so what happens if you don't, just a minute. If you don't take an advantage of this body, then we have to suffer for millions of birth. So if that is the line of meditation, then one will always be anxious to practice Krishna consciousness and distribute Krishna consciousness. Bhagavad Gita, I will preserve what they have. And one shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is Antya Leela 4.192. This really, I like it. When I was taking in initiation, I have learned this shloka. I just wanted to use this. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpana seyi kale Krishna thare Krishna Tare Kare Atma Sama. The meaning is like, I'll just read it in Kannada. ದೀಕ್ಷಾ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಕ್ತನೊಬ್ಬನು ತನ್ನನ್ನ ಭಗವತ್ ವತ್ಸನ್ ವೇಗನೆಂದು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಂಡರೆ, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಸರೆಂಡರ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಎನ್ ಇನಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್, ಹಿಯರ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಸೇಸ್, ಕೃಷ್ಣನು ತನ್ನ ಸಮಾನ ಎಂದು ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಹೂ ಸರೆಂಡರ್ ಟು ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅಟ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್, Krishna will consider that person equal to him. So look at this, Bhakta Vatsala, who Krishna. So there are so many shlokas and verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, always surrender, just do your duty. And we have lot of, what to say, you know, instruments. What are those equipments? See, our gurus is not just like left us that, okay, Srimad Bhagavatam is there, Bhagavad Gita is there, come on, just read it and go back to Godhead. No, they have given lot activities and other things. Sorry. Yeah. So I know that I'm crossing the time. It's almost 3 minutes. So like this, when we read this Ishopanishatu Shoka Vacho Vegam, Manaso Krodha Vegam, Jivva Vegam, who can control the tongue. So the spiritual master should control the tongue as well as Jivva Vegam, even the tongue to be tasted. Oh, yeah, we can allow to taste prasadam. So it is not that. Prasadam also should be limited. Late night eating the prasadam, too much eating the prasadam is also not good. And also controlling of genitals, that is also very important. So that's why we have all four regulative principles. Those who follow all these things can do the can create a disciple. And here Prabhupada emphasized one another shloka, another important point, that those who are not in parampara and who are in too much into a materialistic. See, we can remember that Shuklacharya. You know, when Vamana Deva has come, Shuklacharya says in his third step, don't allow him to keep. Why? Because he is like, if Bali Maharaj lose everything, and what about me? I'm also not getting any this material opulences, because now I'm in the shelter of king. King is, treating me very well. Now king does not have anything. What is my condition? See, look at this pseudo guru. So it says that if the guru and the shishya disciple, those who are always in material entanglement, they go to hell. This is what underlined in this purport. Then last thing, Prabhu, sorry, I'm exceeding. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami says that in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. That is, there is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. So this is what it says. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. And look at this Krodha. Krodha we can get as a spiritual master, but that should be used for the betterment. So here Jagai Madai, even Lord Chaitanya got angry, but he accepted them. He accepted them and he said, I will nullify all your papa karma, papa krityas. Then he accepted. So similarly, Krishna will accept what is our past. Maybe we are chandalas, we are shudras, whatever it is in the past. But once we surrender to Krishna, definitely we can go back to Godhead with their instructions. And look at the Prahalad Maharaj. He's also a beautiful example. Prahalad Maharaj, when in 10th Canto, he says that I don't want to go to Himalaya and meditate. Though my father kills here, it's fine. I have to be in city and I have to preach Krishna conscious to all my lovely brothers and sisters. That is what he says. Though he has troubled him a lot, but still he was constantly engaged in giving his association to all his devotees. So we have lot of instruments so that we DT worship, prasadam distribution. So let us focus on that. And I'll just end up saying one last story. It just takes 1 minute, which help us to understand the importance of guru. So there is a one what is that a lady. So she's called prostitute Amrapali. So many of them knows about this story, Amrapali. So this Amrapali did lot of sin by attracting the people, and she's very bad in that way. And she has made a lot of money out of it. and she's into totally a very adharmic way of doing it. Then once she realized that, or she being contact with the one sadhu, by seeing that sadhu, she felt like she whatever she did, it's very great sin and she has to overcome it. So immediately she approached that sadhu and says, Guru, now please suggest me what is my best thing to do it. Now I have done so much of sins and mistakes in my life. I want to overcome. Then this guru said, isn't it? It's fine. You come to ashram, then be there and just be there. Then she said, no, 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 I cannot be there because I have done so much of sin which nobody can forgive. Then he said, no, 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 don't worry, you just be there. Then she's not listening. She said, no, 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 you please tell me some great tapasya which I have to do and overcome this. Then he showed one lake over there, and all the cows and buffaloes were taking a bath over there. Then he says, look at that water body. After some time, when these cows and other things come out, what happens to that water? Now it is muddy water. After some time, it will be cool and soothen. Then it will be fresh, it will be pure, the water will be pure now. Correct. So the similar way, when you just being a contact with the pure guru, the who is in a parampara, by seeing his drishti or aura, we can purify our janma janmantara papa krityas. This is the beauty of our guru, and we are in the wonderful parampara and Guru Shishya parampara. So let us respect, and thank you so much, and kindly forgive me for taking and exceeding the extra time. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Patita Pavana Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, devotees, for your patience listening, and please forgive me if I committed any mistake, and request all Vaishnavas and Prabhujis to comment and add more points. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.